Stoicism is available to all people, regardless of their social class, financial condition, skin color, sexual orientation, or level of intelligence. A testament to this is Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, who lived as a slave for over 30 years before gaining his freedom, and Marcus Aurelius, an emperor from one of Rome's wealthiest families. Both embraced philosophy and applied Stoicism in their pursuit of virtue and self-control. They fought against vices, freeing themselves from lust, greed, lack of control, and anxiety. They disciplined their minds to deal with fears and worries under their control and learned to accept and be indifferent to things beyond their control, like whether it would rain tomorrow or be sunny. You cannot control the actions of others, even those close to you, within your family or your household. You do not control the society around you or the judgments and opinions of others about you. There is only one thing under your control: yourself. Your desires, intentions, and actions, how you react to what happens to you. We all have a rational nature that enables us to control our emotions and reactions. Stoicism is the philosophy that teaches us to do what needs to be done, regardless of circumstances, to take complete moral responsibility for our actions, to discipline and train our feelings to act in a way that avoids shame, self-dishonor, and self-indulgence, all feelings rooted in vices. The life of Marcus Aurelius demonstrates how Stoicism can guide us in battling vices and lead us on the path to virtue. Before we delve into the lessons, I'd like to ask you to comment, sharing your own vice and the date you're watching this video. This simple statement is a powerful step in breaking any vice that may be affecting your life. Put it on your Google Calendar or your phone to revisit this video and evaluate your progress. Commit genuinely to this transformation. As Marcus Aurelius said, "He who does not have the courage to make his own light creates his own darkness." Now, let's talk about Marcus Aurelius. He reigned as emperor from 161 AD to 180 AD. As an emperor, he had absolute power over the world. He could have indulged in all his vices, desires, and impulses, which was common and acceptable among the emperors before him. He could have accumulated immense wealth for his personal fortune, indulged in sex at any time and place, and enjoyed all the luxuries of the world. His word was law, and he had the power to punish and even kill without consequences. Despite this absolute power, Marcus Aurelius's life serves as an example of how we can resist temptations and handle life's difficulties and circumstances without succumbing to vices. He did not give in to the allure of immediate gratification offered by momentary pleasures, nor to the impulses that drive us to indulge in vices. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that the ability to resist can be cultivated and become a positive habit in our lives. For the Stoics, any virtue accessible to a human being is accessible to all of us. If Marcus Aurelius could resist all the temptations that power offered him, we, with much less power, can do the same. We all have a rational nature that enables us to control our feelings, behaviors, actions, and relationships with others. Marcus Aurelius disciplined himself for 19 years and wrote to maintain and pursue honorable conduct in his diary, later published as Meditations. In this diary, we find wisdom about vices and how they imprison us. In the Stoic philosophy, vices, even seemingly harmless ones, are like a silent elephant in the room. You may not notice them until they've taken over your life. These vices often operate in the shadows, and we struggle to identify them. When we finally notice them, we tend to downplay their significance, convincing ourselves that they are harmless distractions. However, like the silent mosquito that bites you while you sleep, these seemingly harmless vices can prove detrimental when you least expect it. It's a powerful lesson on how we should be vigilant against vices that lurk in our lives, even if they seem entirely harmless, such as stress shopping, consuming pornography to get in the mood, complaining about a coworker, criticizing your spouse or family member, procrastinating on a challenging task, indulging in fast food instead of a healthy meal, constantly drinking coffee, spending hours on social media, and inevitably comparing your life to the perfect lives portrayed online. These actions may seem like everyday behaviors, far from what we typically consider vices, but these habits can silently shackle you long before you recognize them as vices. As Marcus Aurelius warned, thieves, perverts, murderers, and tyrants are gata postum para inspection, not their supposed pleasures. Marcus Aurelius cautions us about a dangerous path that many humans tread, and they place undue emphasis on vices in their lives. These words serve as a warning because vices can indeed be thieves of virtue and happiness. When you allow fleeting, detrimental pleasures to dominate your life, such as indulging in indulgences or self-destructive behaviors, you unwittingly pave a path toward moral ruin. If you find relief and happiness in life only when you shop, spend money on unnecessary things, or rely on pornography for sexual satisfaction and love, it becomes challenging to form emotional connections and build healthy real-world relationships. If you need to drink several cups of coffee daily to concentrate, you are essentially propping up your productivity with caffeine, even when your mind and body inherently possess the capability to focus and produce. When you fall into an unending cycle of criticism and complaint, you develop a vice that can affect your self-esteem and mental well-being negatively. The quest for validation on social media can become addictive and detrimental to your mental health, leading to constant comparisons with others and feelings of inadequacy. The danger of vices lies in the fact that they seduce us with temporary promises of satisfaction, leaving us feeling incredibly good for a brief period. Still, in the end, they leave a trail of devastation, eroding our ability to lead a virtuous and meaningful life. Pleasure can morph into punishment, and self-discipline stands as a powerful tool to combat this trap, guiding us as a resolute ally in the fight against vices, helping us maintain balance and lead a healthier, virtuous life. According to Marcus Aurelius, dig deep within yourself, there is a source of good, and it can gush forth if you keep digging. Self-discipline is indeed a challenging journey, but it is crucial to understand that self-control is intrinsically linked to the ability to resist temptation. When we connect the temptation of vice with its negative consequences, it loses some of its seductive power. This means recognizing that giving into vices often leads to much worse outcomes than resisting them. Now, think of a vice you have, and try to list the results of always giving into it. Take out your notepad or use a piece of paper, and divide it into two columns, one for the secondary benefits and the other for the detrimental outcomes. Secondary benefits are the small rewards vices offer, such as gaining free time, receiving attention, or avoiding significant responsibilities. The negative outcomes include not achieving your goals, never finishing what you start, and a loss of self-confidence. After filling out both columns, you'll realize that while seemingly harmless vices offer brief and momentary rewards, these rewards don't compare to the sense of accomplishment you could have if you eliminated them. In this light, self-control itself becomes a source of satisfaction and achievement, while temptation turns into a burden of regret and remorse. As Epictetus wisely said, more powerful than any external trigger is your capacity to think. Remember that nothing can happen without your consent. These are the words of Marcus Aurelius. No event or circumstance, in itself, has the power to rule our lives without our permission. Everything you face in life is external, and it has no access to your mind. This quote from Marcus Aurelius is a reminder that we are the masters of our choices and reactions. The practice of Stoicism teaches us to identify what is within our control and what is beyond it. First, we need to differentiate between what is within our control and what is outside our control. Then, we take responsibility for what we can control, which includes our desires, intentions, actions, and reactions to what happens to us. However, you also have the freedom and control to reject any environment or situation that could lead you to fall into vice. For example, if you're trying to quit smoking, you can't demand that others stop smoking, but you can choose to avoid environments where everyone smokes all the time to avoid temptation. This is within your control. You have power over your mind, but not over external events. Realizing this provides you with strength. As Marcus Aurelius says, one man's destiny is another man's chance. It's essential to acknowledge when you make a mistake or fail in your attempt to break free from vices. What's even more critical is to pick yourself up and move forward. Don't let guilt and remorse become a new cycle of vice. This is not about self-deception, it's about acknowledging the mistake, reflecting on what led you to it, taking responsibility, and then moving on. Recovery of your senses, reconnecting with yourself, and waking up again are waiting for you. In the words of Epictetus, the soul is like a bowl of water, and our impressions are like the rays of light that fall upon it. When the water is stirred, it appears that the light itself is in motion, but it isn't. Similarly, when a person loses self-control, it's not their abilities and virtues that are disturbed but the spirit in which they exist. When the spirit calms down, these things calm down too. It's crucial to admit when you've made a mistake, but it's even more important to lift your head and carry on. We can't get lost in blame, as it can easily become a mental trap, an internal prison that hinders our progress. For example, if you break your diet or overeat and then spend hours lamenting your mistake, you're chaining yourself to that error. Don't let guilt and remorse become your new cycle of vice. It's not about pretending the failure didn't happen, but it's about acknowledging it, reflecting on the factors that led to it, taking responsibility, and moving forward. As Marcus Aurelius said, rouse yourself and confirm your purpose. Don't be misled by the darkness, but keep going, no matter how slowly. Taking responsibility is the first step, and being negligent or lacking this character is the worst of all fates. Living without self-love is a life of constantly giving in to desires. We can tally up the sins of action or omission, the betrayals of trust, and all the promises subtly broken, gifts irrevocably wasted out of laziness, cowardice, or neglect. You are better than this, and if you like this video, don't forget to share it with a friend who needs to hear these words. Help us spread this ancient wisdom. Please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all.